What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. Hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an Arsenal inventory update to do for you guys. Vinyl this time, and Heavy Death strikes again here. I got a nice little stack of records to talk to you about here today, mostly death metal orientated. And the first record I'm going to talk to you about is a debut full-length from probably one of Canada's most well-known sort of death metal entities. This is Cryptopsy with Blasphemy Made Flesh. Yeah. This is their debut full-length from 1994, and of course, if you're familiar with Cryptopsy and their earlier beginnings, they delivered some absolutely heavyweight sort of masterpieces when it came to their style of death metal. The sheer technicality, the brutality, the depraved vocals, the drumming and riffs, just an overall tight-knit sort of package, and Blasphemy Made Flesh was a very, very awesome way to get the ball rolling for a band like Cryptopsy. Songs like Defenestration, Open Face Surgery, that's probably one of the most popular Cryptopsy songs in my opinion. Swine of the Cross, Mutant Christ, absolutely crazy stuff. I love Lord Worm's vocals, I love the drumming, I love the riffs. This is just a very, very memorable debut full-length. I personally prefer None So Vile, which came a couple of years later after this, and even the albums with Mike DeSalvo are pretty damn solid too. But to me, the legacy of Cryptopsy will always be the first two full-lengths, Blasphemy Made Flesh and None So Vile. But yeah, this debut album is a classic. But yeah, here's a front cover. Very notable album cover art here. Very freaky looking stuff here. Back cover, track listing and credits. This is a 2015 reissue through War on Music. Comes on a printed inner sleeve. There you have a band member photo of who was involved in the 1994 lineup of this band. Lyrics for all of the tracks. Very awesome lyrics for this album, I should say. And I just have the standard black vinyl. Pretty thin little record here. Basic center labels going on here. But yeah, it's a pretty good sounding record. But yeah, I love older Cryptopsy. I know they're still up and at it right now. I know they're going to be touring with Belphegor very soon, so definitely keep an eye and ear out for that if there's a date coming near you to check them out. But yeah, Blasphemy Made Flesh by Cryptopsy, Canadian death metal classic. From Canada, we moved to Spain for a 2016 release from probably one of the most notable brutal death metal bands to come out from that country. If you like brutal death metal and science fiction, this is a band that does it very justice. This is Wormed with Kriegsu. Yeah. This came out last year through Season of Mist, and if you already saw my review of this album, you pretty much already are familiar with what I've had to say and feel about this record. But yeah, these guys are based out of Spain. This is their third full-length album, coming after some really awesome records like Planispherium and Exodromos. Kriegsu is probably the most cleanly and polished album of the Worm discography so far. Very technical, very over-the-top. I love Phlegthon's vocals, the high gutturals, the growls, the speed and delivery of his vocals and lyrics. It's just a very over-the-top vocal performance, but the music definitely backs it up. The drumming, the technicality of the guitar riffs, the audible bass, it's just an overall fluid-sounding record. In all honesty, in retrospect, I don't consider this to be the best Wormed record. I honestly would have to give something like that to maybe Planispherium, the first full-length album. But Kriegsu is definitely a fun record to throw on, definitely exhilarating listen from front to back. Pseudo Horizon, Aglypton, Codex Cybercization, these song titles are a trip. Computronium, Pulsar, Nanarchy, Molecular Winds, just some seriously crazy stuff going on here with this album. But yeah, here's the front cover. Here's the back cover. Track listing, Season of Mist. You got a gatefold here with lyrics and credits for all the songs and information. And the copy that I got is limited to 200 copies, and it comes on this pretty nice little lilac purple sort of colored vinyl. Opaque purple, as Season of Mist likes to call it. Side A, Side B. Pretty good sounding record, good quality on this thing, as per usual with Season of Mist vinyl. But yeah, if you're a fan of Wormed, this is definitely an album to be paying attention to closely into their discography. I'm going to slip this back in here right quick, excuse me. But yeah, Cryptopsy by Wormed, definitely check this one out. Next up, I got a pair of EPs from probably one of the most well-regarded and probably one of the greatest US death metal bands of all time. And this first EP was the beginning of their comeback of sorts. This is Autopsy with The Tomb Within. Yeah. This was originally released in 2010 through Peaceville Records. And of course, I don't really need to say anything about Autopsy if you are a fan of death metal or the early roots of US death metal. I mean, this band is fucking legendary. Severed Survival, Mental Funeral, Acts of the Unspeakable, Shit Fun, and even the classic EPs that predated something like this. But there was going to be a small comeback of sorts. I believe this all came to fruition when the Severed Survival reissued came out, and I believe there was a bonus disc. I don't know if it was on the actual CD or whatever, but there was some new material being worked on. Autopsy were definitely in the runnings to make some new music again. And this EP is an example of what would later become their full-fledged comeback. Of course, leading on to albums like the amazing Macabre Eternal, The Headless Ritual, Tourniquets, Hacksaws, and Graves. Just some seriously killer stuff. But on to The Tomb Within. The opening scream of the title track from Chris Reefer just gave you the certain chills that this band was back up and running. My Corpse Shall Rise, Human Genocide, just some seriously killer songs. These guys still know how to create death metal and do it properly. And I believe this is the first album to include, the first release to include their current bassist, Joe Trevisano. And he does some seriously amazing bass work on this EP. Looking back now, this is still an absolutely amazing EP to listen to. This was the beginning of Autopsy coming back to take what's rightfully theirs. So anyway, here's the front cover. Love this artwork. Very good quality done on this. Definitely nice to see it in a big folded up vinyl format. I remember getting the CD when it came out. It had one of those super CD jewel cases, which are pretty much a pain in the butt to deal with, but you get where I'm going here. Back cover. Band photo and credits. Comes on a printed inner sleeve. There you have the Autopsy logo. On this side you have lyrics and additional credits for what's going on here. And this comes on a pretty heavy black vinyl. Side A, side B. Very simplistic black vinyl, very heavy. Pretty much a Peaceville weighted sort of vinyl here. But yeah. The Tomb Within is a classic Autopsy EP for the current day, and it still holds up nicely. So yeah, Autopsy, The Tomb Within, go check this out. And keeping up with Autopsy EPs, we have a new reissue that just came out recently, and this is of something from their earliest increments, going back to the early 90s. Once again, this is Autopsy with Fiend for Blood. Yeah, this is their EP from 1991, and yeah, I was spending the night at my friend Matt Hefner's house. He's the drummer for Morbosidad and Blaspherian and whatever, and I was going through all of his older records. He has like, I mean, his collection is insane, from all the old 7 inches he has to the 12-inch records from the early 80s and 90s. It's just really, really crazy. And one of the records that I got up that I was looking at and listening to was Fiend for Blood by Autopsy, the original version of that. Because of course the original version goes for insane amounts of money on Discogs or eBay and whatever. And I thought to myself, I really hope that one day the earliest Autopsy EPs could see vinyl reissue treatment, and lo and behold, Fiend for Blood was one of those Autopsy EP reissues. And it's very cool to see something like this come to life. It gives me the hope that something like Retribution for the Dead will be getting the vinyl reissue treatment. I think it deserves the vinyl reissue treatment. But going back to Fiend for Blood, what can you say? It's classic Autopsy stuff. Steve DiGiorgio does bass on this EP, and he does a tremendous job getting the low bottom end that he's best known for for doing stuff with Autopsy on here. The vocals and lyrics are just straight up over the top. The music is straight up filthy and ugly death metal. The title track, Squeal Like a Pig, different kind of mindfuck. I absolutely love this EP. This is definitely a classic Autopsy EP in its own right. And I'm hopeful that Retribution for the Dead will see reissue treatment soon. So anyway, here's the front cover. Pretty blown up original of what the original cover used to look like. I don't know if any of the Autopsy logo is cropped off or not. It's kind of hard to tell, but whatever. Yeah, Fiend for Blood, back cover, track listing, credits. Got another printed inner sleeve here. Band member photo with everybody from Autopsy involved in here. And you have lyrics for all the songs and credits. I like the previous EP. This comes on a pretty heavy black vinyl. Standard center labels. Side A, side B. Great heavy vinyl. Good quality on this thing. But yeah. Did I tell you that Autopsy is one of the greatest US death metal bands of all time? I think they are, and I would hope to think that some of you think that way too, so yeah. Autopsy, Fiend for Blood, go look this one up and check this out. Next up, we move to California. I mean, we were in California because of Autopsy, but we're sticking in California for this next one. This is a 2016 release, and honestly, I really feel that something like this deserves way more love and attention than what I feel it already got. And this is definitely a band oozing endless potential. This is Our Place of Worship is Silence with the Embodiment of Hate. Yeah. This came out in 2016 through Broken Limbs Recordings, and yeah. Our Place of Worship is Silence are based out of California, and the first time I had heard this band's name and what they were all about, I was immediately sold on it. They have a very angry, aggressive approach to doing death metal with little hints of black metal thrown in bits and spurts. And what came on the Embodiment of Hate was an absolutely treasure trove of music, really angry vocals, good riffs, solid drumming and bass work. This is an absolute masterwork of a record, and I honestly see endless potential coming from a project like this. Listening to songs like Consecrated Dystopia, Feast of Martyrdom. There's even a Clandestine Blaze cover at the end with Church of Atrocity. I think they do that cover pretty justice on here. Really, really fun stuff. But yeah, they're going to have a new album out in 2018 through Translation Loss, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I see endless potential for a band like Our Place of Worship is Silence, and I definitely think you should be paying more attention to something like this. But yeah, here's the front cover. Matte finish on the jacket. I don't know if you're able to catch it or not, but there is some spot gloss of the artwork logo. Rest did the logo art for this band. The album cover is nice, but the spot gloss on here is very cool to look at. There you have the back cover with track listing. You have a little bit of a clearer image of the artwork done by Rest. Very, very cool. Broken Limbs Recordings. Comes on a printed inner sleeve. There you have band member photos. Lyrics for all the songs, and there of course you see that this release was the last to feature their former bassist Tim Butcher. Yeah, he was the drummer for this band. Yeah, very, very amazing performance on this record, and if I'm not mistaken, this is limited to 300 copies. I originally got the standard black vinyl, which is not the one I ordered, but they were kind enough to send me the right one and not have me worry of sending it back, so I just ended up giving the copy that I got originally, I gave that to Canyon, but the version that I got was the one that I wanted, and it comes on a oxblood red vinyl. Very good quality on this. Side B, you have the handprint logo here of the band. But yeah, if you haven't heard Our Place of Worship is Silence, you definitely need to get up on listening to this band. This is one of my favorite bands from last year, and the potential is seriously skyrocketing in my opinion. But yeah, Our Place of Worship is Silence, the Embodiment of Hate. Go check this one out. And last but not least, keeping it up with death metal from the United States, we have probably one of the sickest death doom combinations going today. Only 2 people are involved in this project, and they really know how to make you frightened. This is Inoculation with O Hell, Shrine in Thy Whited Sepulchres. Yeah. I believe this was originally released in 2012 through Self-Made God Records. And if you're not familiar with Inoculation, they are based out of Georgia. And they are basically the one half of the band Father Befouled. Notably Justin, he plays guitar and does vocals here. And Wayne, he does the drums. Inoculation is a very, very different band from Father Befouled in the sense that there's a little bit more of a darker, horror-esque sort of quality in the music. The death metal, the doom elements, the really low and crazy vocals. It's just an overall amazing package. I mean, Ritual Ascension Beyond Flesh was a really awesome debut album, but with Oh Hell, Shine in Thy Whited Sepulchres, things just get a little bit deeper and darker, and it's just very frightening sounding. I love this album. I mean, they went even further with 3 Hear Me O Death, Sing Thou Wretched Choirs, but this album is very special in its own right. When it comes to tracks, Rites of Ceremonial Embalmment, Crypt of His Communal Devourment, Washed and Buried, Annunciation of the Viscera, very dark, evil, and brooding stuff. This is a very killer Death Doom album. But anyway, here's the front cover. Love this artwork painting that they chose for the cover here. There you see the band logo. Back cover, track listing. Love this design here. Self-Made God put this out. Gatefold, very nice gold artwork going on here. Come, sweet death, be persuaded. Oh, beautiful death. Yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, lyric sheet for all the songs on here, credits and information, very scroll-like in quality here. Really, really dig this a lot. And I don't know the limitation on this particular record, but I was able to get a color vinyl variant of this, and this comes on a very gorgeous translucent green with smoke in the mix. Very, very good quality here. Love the center label for this one. Beholder and whatever that word is. Side 2 with track listing and the label logo. But yeah, great quality record, good sound quality on this thing. But yeah, Inoculation are killer, and I'm very excited to hear what comes next from this band. They are one of the best death doom bands going right now. So yeah, Inoculation, Oh Hell, Shine in Thy Whited Sepulchres. Definitely go check this out. And with that said, I'm going to conclude this video. Thanks for putting up with my small little slight cold that I have going on. I'm sure I will heal up after this weekend. I'm going to leave you some links in the description box of some of the bands I talked to you about here in this video. If you happen to have heard or own any of these releases, let me know what you think and how you feel about it, and we can go from there. And seeing as how Monday is going to be the day before Halloween, I have something very special planned for all of you guys. I definitely want you guys to be checking on here to see what I'm talking about. Some of you know, some of you don't, but for those of you who don't, you're going to be in for a real treat. Or trick. You never know. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Army Hell out.